The earth don't judge.
We're built to make it through the mud.
Because we're made from it.
The precious mineral is you.
Get it?
Fragmented pieces of the infinite.
Wholesome like sand when you're sifting it.
Hands of time creating friction.
While the mission is to get lifted.
Do our inner mystic?
We could never miss it.
The recipe. Step 1.
Love.
Love.
Para esto venimos, darnos lo nuestro debido. Inmigrante en este país, pero inteligente individuo. No me puedes parar porque dentro de mí está el divino. Nosotros llegamos a este país para buscar un camino. Me importa un pepino, lo que piense en mi destino. Punto final infinito, yo soy latino. Voy a ser el mejor del mundo, eso sabía desde chiquito. Mi estilo muy fino, las nenas me quieren, se bajan el hilo. No me empujes esto cerca al filo, quieres ahogarme, pero me río, por eso soy frío. Dale para adelante, nunca pararé, no es suerte mi compadre. Es trabajo duro, mucha confidencia y con eso no dudarse. Aprender y ser puro, ser honrado, elevarte y esquivar la cárcel. Con esto yo les juro que seré muy grande y tengo mucha clase. No quiero dormir, no quiero dormir, no voy a sufrir. La vida querida es hermosa, yo quiero vivir, no juegues conmigo. Lo siento por ti, venimos por todas estas cosas. No quiero dormir, no quiero dormir, no voy a sufrir. La vida querida es hermosa, yo quiero vivir, no juegues conmigo. Lo siento por ti, venimos por todas estas cosas. Esto no es complicado, conocí el racismo cuando era pelado. Escoge un lado, acepta tu nombre que te cambiaron. Somos gente decente, ¿de dónde sacaron que somos muy malos? Esto no es permanente, que no te quede en la mente como un tatuado. Yo soy muy fuerte, que sea muy claro, me cuido, soy sano y soy educado. Les digo, estos casos se olvidaron, mi flow exclusivo cuesta muy caro. Este flow de Osvaldo merece un cuadro. Yo soy bien elevado, hijo del chimborazo, serio como un infarto. Sigue para adelante, enfocado en la meta que tenía antes. Practicando cada día, estudiando cada paso para no equivocarme. Todo esto es energía, meditando cada día para ayudarme. Y mi madre me decía que Dios me bendiga y nunca me rechace. No quiero dormir, no quiero dormir, no voy a sufrir. La vida querida es hermosa, yo quiero vivir, no juegues conmigo. Lo siento por ti, venimos por todas estas cosas. No quiero dormir, no quiero dormir, no voy a sufrir. La vida querida es hermosa, yo quiero vivir, no juegues conmigo. Lo siento por ti, venimos por todas estas cosas.
Nah. Sin el carro. Hongos. Yeah. Healing. Medicine. There's so much medicine out here, it's not even funny. There's food, medicine, everything we need. Building supplies, construction supplies, everything.
Gang.
Bean.
No está esse outro mirim. Roots, culture, família.
Lion.
You know what I'm saying?
Smoothie to start the day.
Oh, bless.
Powers.
Let me have some.
That's you.
That's me? I bet. Ya viene el...
Que se va a demorar unos 20.
Okay, my people, what is going on? It's your boy Mario of Woke Up a Rebel, bringing you another episode of Rebelations podcast. This is episode number 2, where we are doing a special series for the C.O.L.L.A.B series camp here at 4SOUND Studio. Thank you so much, William Dinero, for allowing us to come in here and film and be a part of this special project that's happening. Shout out to the cameraman, Donovan. And right now we have here sitting in the hot seat, we got the man, Sounds by Fili, or just Fili?
You can call me Fili.
Fili,
I go by
alright.
Fili, you know.
Okay, my good man. Thank you so much, for taking the
Appreciate that,
time out
man.
to be here.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yes. All right, man. So, first thing I want to ask you, man, is how did you hear about the collab series at camp? The collab series camp at 4SOUND.
So the collab camp that we're in right now, I heard it because I've actually been a long time fan of William De Niro. I was part of a bunch of great things that he does through 4SOUND Media. The ADAP program being one of them, and now being here part of the collab camp, he reached out to me and said, hey, I want you to, be part of this. I know you do some stuff with some of your guys. He knows I have a team of guys. So I said, yeah, sure, why not? And we're now here putting in some work.
Yeah, and honestly, it's always a great time being in here. The vibe is absolutely amazing all the time. The energy in this room, right?
Love it.
Yeah, man. So, just gonna run some questions with you, so that our audience can get to know you a little bit.
All right, let's go.
So can you share a moment in your life when you realized that songwriting was more than just a hobby for you?
Yeah, I believe that it started very young. Again, paying attention to songs and the storytelling that was happening, right? When I realized that, I started putting like words together, poetry, and again, coming up with thoughts, storylines, speaking about my own experiences. I loved the fact that I was doing that, right? That I could put it together, and then it just became more than just like, let's say, a hobby, right? So from that, I realized that I could make music out of this and I could take it more serious. And then you start realizing that the greats themselves actually wrote songs for others and, created, great bodies of work from that, right? So that's one thing that I started realizing, at this point, we're definitely going to have to start taking this more serious and making this a career path.
Right. That's sick, man. So you write songs for other artists.
That's right. I write songs for other artists as well as I'm a songwriter for myself. I'm an artist. So, knowing that my abilities are there, and sometimes there's certain things and ideas that I know I cannot execute myself, or more so like I would prefer somebody to hear somebody else doing it. That's when I go, and start providing those that talent and gift to somebody else.
Okay, that's dope, man. And when we were like, having a little quick introduction in the other room, you were saying that you're also an artist manager.
That's right. So I got into artist management because one of my artists, his name is C.O.L.L.A.B. He actually asked for me to manage him. I met him. It's a funny story, and to make a long story short, I met him through social media, which was crazy. Like, he reached out to me. He's not even from Canada. He's actually from Belgium. So he reached out to me. He wanted studio time. I said, I don't know who you are. You know what I mean? I kind of a Toronto man mentality. I was kind of like, brushing it off. But then we met. We spoke. We actually got into the studio. The way this guy works, Saint is no joke. He records like 5 different songs on the same beat, all different melodies. He's a crazy top line king. You know what I mean?
That sounds dope, man.
And from that, he actually asked me, one time I went to a session and he said, can you manage me? Please, I need you to manage me. You have so much, game in the industry. And I said, why not? Actually, I'm not gonna say why not. I was like very not for it because I was more so thinking about like what I want to do for myself. So therefore, like I was like, how am I gonna put this together for him? You know what I mean? I'm more focused on myself as an artist. So being the artist that I am, I was like, I don't know if I could do this. So to make a long story short again, my friend Diminati was the one that was like, yo, I think you should manage these guys. They have great talent. And it's not like, at some point in time, like, I mean, great artists don't just drop on your lap and, ask you to manage them.
Yeah, straight up.
I said, yeah, sure, why not? Let's go.
Straight up. Okay, that's amazing, man. Like, honestly, I can't even imagine, like, being responsible for somebody else's music journey. Like that's commendable of you, man, that you're able to take on that responsibility.
That. Yeah.
What's your background, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, my background, I'm Ecuadorian, 100% Ecuadorian.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ñaño.
Yeah, ñaños. Yo, you know what's funny about the ñaño part? I didn't know that only Ecuadorians say ñaño.
Yeah,
so one time I was at a songwriting camp. Like, it wasn't a songwriting camp. It's just a bunch of Latinos put together, and we were filming some stuff too, and I was the guy just in charge of getting people into like the other room to kind of introduce themselves and talk about that. So then I kept calling everyone ñaño, Cubanos, Dominicanos, all that, and they're like, yo, they're looking at me like, yo, what's
what'd
a
you call me?
ñaño, bro? You know what I mean? I'm
Are you
like,
cussing at me?
you know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, and then they're like, and then one guy pointed out, he's like, a Cuban guy, he's like, un Cubano, he's like, yo, you're Ecuadorian, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, only Ecuadorians say ñaño. I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
That's so sick.
Yeah, I was born in Ecuador too, so.
Okay, straight. So that means you also got the
Oh yeah, the
immigrant stamp.
the immigrant stamp. Yeah, the foreigner stamp. I got that.
Man,
Yeah.
straight up. So given the fact that your background, you're Ecuadorian, how does your cultural background influence the themes and messages in your songs? And have you faced any challenges or triumphs in expressing your cultural identity through your music?
That's a great question, actually. I love that question because, like, I've always heard my journey in music is really interesting because there's a lot of history in Latin American countries that a lot of people don't know about. A lot of the black history is not spoken about in Latin America. We're spoken about more about colonialism, the Spanish coming and taking over our lands, right? But people don't realize there's a lot of black people in South America. And one thing people don't know is that my grandmother's actually black. And people, when I tell them that, like, oh, you don't look, a smidge, a percentage, I'm like, yeah, but if you see, like, I don't know how DNA works or genetics works.
Yeah,
they work in mysterious ways. But growing up as an artist, you hear things like, because you're Latino and you want to try to say rapping and stuff, you're not going to be as successful as, let's say, a black artist because it's a black market. You know what I mean? It's really strange to hear that, even though, like, we share a lot of things. We have a lot of common interests and, have a lot of the same backgrounds, foods and all that, right? And the challenge has been that, you don't get taken serious as a Latino artist. Again, now we're starting to embrace it more, but the moment they start talking about, like, what type of music you should be making, it's like, you should deal with the reggaeton. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's interesting because I'm like, nah, like, you're not gonna box me in. No one should be boxed in. You can't ask a Afro-American or a African artist not to make reggaeton. Like, I would embrace that to the fullest. You know what I mean? The other challenges I've had was, like, speaking about my cultural background, because not a lot of people know Ecuadorians or what they're about, very little, you know what I mean? We have a lot of people that are very talented, that they're so good at what they do, and whether it's like reggaeton, even rapping in Spanish, and they have battles out there. I was in Ecuador not too long ago, and that's what was going on out there, actually.
Yeah.
And speaking about my heritage and my music is what I love, because I actually throw in Quechua in there.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say kushki and people don't know what kushki is. I'll be like, that's
so
money.
sick, man.
So it's a great way to kind of, like, educate people along the way. That's part of my songwriting process. Like, it's not just writing to write. It's more so to see how people can benefit from it.
Oh, that's so sick, bro.
Spark up a conversation, a good educational one, at least.
Wow, man. Yeah, dude, that's amazing. And, we're all here for networking reasons, right?
That's right.
And, given that, how has networking played a role in your journey as a songwriter or artist manager? And can you share a specific moment where a connection made a significant impact on, your journey?
I think networking is great. I think all artists should do it, and you shouldn't limit yourself to how you network. I mean, use all sorts of media, and I'm talking about networking is a major thing. Like, use social media for specific type of networking. Use LinkedIn if there's still professional people in the industry that don't speak social media language or any other language, like, just use any way possible to get into people's spaces to have that conversation. Networking has taken me in so many places. When I was younger, I wish I would have had that guidance and that mentorship to actually be told that, right? And I think through that, some of my greatest experiences came from just opening my mouth, shaking hands, being like, what up? My name is so-and-so, being respectful, being on time. That's one of the reasons I'm actually here, because that's how networking through people, and I met William De Niro. Exactly. Now, I knew who William De Niro was from before, but we were always in the same vicinity. But finally, through networking, we got to meet each other. He realized I'm a cool guy, and we've worked ever since.
Yeah, that's so dope, man, honestly. Yeah. And William's such a dope human being. It's great, right?
That's
so,
right.
Last question, before we close out, what advice would you give to aspiring songwriters about the importance of networking beyond just showing them, like, hey, here's my song? Like, what else could they be doing except beyond just check out my music?
So one piece of advice I would definitely give to people is don't stop and don't get boxed in. Always think out the box. Just because one door closes, you should definitely try something new, find different ways to get your music, your talents, your gift, whatever it is, out there, so that way people know who you are. You know, labels are not the end all. You know, managers
Facts.
are not the end all. Producers are not the end all. Like, we can forge our own destiny. You know what I mean? Our own path. So there's no reason why you should just let others drive your narrative. Just continue, learn new things, educate yourself, and put yourself out there.
100%, man. Honestly, Philly, it was actually very dope, you know, picking your brain.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I know we followed each other for a little bit now on social media, but
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
a pleasure actually chopping it up with you, man. So thank you so much.
Mario, appreciate
Yeah,
that,
man.
guys. D, appreciate you guys. Thank you
Right,
guys for
so-
having me. Appreciate
Yeah,
that. Oh,
so-
y'all can follow me on all social media handles at Sounds by Philly. That's on all platforms, on streaming platforms. I go by just Fili, Philly. This is personal. The album's out. It's been out for some time. So holla at your boy.
All right, and we're gonna be posting all the links and all the socials in the description box and the YouTube version of this, and on Spotify and stuff like that. So thank you very much for this episode of Rebelations podcast here at 4SOUND Studio. Your boy Mario with the boy Philly.
Appreciate it, man. Peace.
Woke up a rebel.